It's time to vote, but what are you actually voting for?
It's Voting 101 for 2022 with Matilda Boseley from The Guardian, Australia.
Let's be real, Australian schools aren't always the best at educating people about our governmental systems. I know, of course, you know, but just humour me for a second for the people in the back. So nowadays, federal elections are actually kind of two elections combined. One for all of the seats in the lower house and one for a bit over half the seats in the upper house. So the lower house, or the House of Representatives, is the one that you hear about the most. That's because that's where the Prime Minister is, it's where the Leader of the Opposition is, and every 3-ish years when they have an election, all 151 seats of the lower house go up for grabs, and whichever party wins the majority of the seats, 76, gets to form government and their leader becomes the Prime Minister. Basically, they've drawn lines all over a map of Australia, dividing it up into 151 areas with roughly equal population sizes. Like Grayndler, that only encompass about 32 square kilometres, and then you also end up with outback electorates like Durack, which are similar in size to Mexico. States like Victoria and New South Wales have way more seats and therefore get way more of a say than places like Tasmania or the Northern Territory. To compensate for that, we have the upper house, or the Senate. There are 76 seats there, 12 for each state and 2 each for the Northern Territory and ACT. So that means only half of them are going up for election every 3 years, 6 from each state. Oh, and also the 4 from the Territory go up every 3 years as well. Parties win seats based on the proportion of votes they receive. So if a party gets 30% of the votes, notionally they get 30% of the seats. This is called representational democracy, and that's why minor parties like the Greens or One Nation are much more likely to score a seat up there than down in the House of Reps. So that's what you're voting for. In the lower house, you're voting along with the rest of your electorate for your local representative. And in the upper house, you're voting along with the rest of your state or territory for a number of senators. Simple, right? Not quite. See, Australia actually has a very complex voting system called preferential voting. And see, the whole way that works is just that... Actually, you know what? I'll explain that all to you in the next one.